Hello there, you beautiful people. And this is the introductory lesson for our advanced Excel course. So in this lesson, aside the introduction, we're going to be covering some key shortcuts. So I'm going to open the folder I sent to you, and in this folder, you will notice that there's a PDF textbook. So this textbook basically covers all the topics and everything we're going to cover in this course. So if you want to have a better understanding in your free time, you can come here. I really like it because it has a lot of pictures and illustrations with little text. So it's nice. Then also there's a progress tracker. So if you want to know the total, if you want to know all the course content, you can come here and look at all the course content. You can tick off what you've done and just look at all that we have to do. Then in this Excel next folder, we have this course is broken into 6 levels. In each level, we have different lessons. It's about 90 lessons in total, I think. And today's lesson is the intro warm up. So open this file, the intro warm up file. Okay. So basically, I'm going to be explaining the shortcuts, the major shortcuts in Excel. And it's important to know these shortcuts because it's going to make your life much easier in Excel. And we're going to be using a lot of these shortcuts in lessons to come very frequently. So try and really understand all these shortcuts very well. Now, the first shortcut. If you look here, this area right here is called the ribbon area. So sometimes you may want to expand your workspace so that you just have more space. You may want to collapse this ribbon area. So you could either double tap on any of the ribbon headings. So if I double tap here, it shrinks, it collapses. If I double tap it again, it comes back. So the shortcut for doing this is Control F1. You can see it has collapsed. If you press Control F1 again, it comes back. So that's Control F1. So for each shortcut, I'm going to be highlighting them red, so you just know what we've done. Okay. Now the next shortcut. In case you can't quite remember a particular shortcut and you want a quick way to get to an action and command. For instance, if I want to fill this cell yellow and I can't remember what the shortcut is for the fill cell button, what I can do is tap Alt. When I press Alt, you can see if you press Alt, you see that each of the headings of the ribbon area are represented by a letter. So for home it's H. So I'm going to press H again. So I'm going to press H. And for the fill cell is also H. So I press H again. Then I can fill it yellow. So that's just a semi-quick way to get to a command maybe you can't quite remember. Now, I've just filled the cell yellow. If I want to repeat that action in another cell, let's say I want to fill this cell yellow, instead of going back to this button before I can fill it yellow, since I've just already done it, I can press the F4 button. That repeats the last command or action. So F4. I can do it somewhere else again. F4. Also, let's say the last thing I did was to make this cell bold. That's Control B. Bold. And I want to make, okay, now let me put some text in here first. Let's say up there. Let me make this normal. Okay, the last thing I did was to make this bold. So I'm going to make this bold now. And I want to make upper bold. I tap F4 and it repeats the last action. So that's a very useful tool if you are repeating a similar action for many cells, instead of having to go back, you can just press F4 to repeat that action. Then F4 also has another function. It's called this, it's used for cell referencing. So in case, let's say, referencing basically means when you refer to the value of another cell in a particular cell. So for instance, um, this is E7, I put 5 in E7, right? I can refer here to E7. So if I say equals to E7, right? I refer to it. That's the meaning of referencing. So what F4 does for referencing, when you are looking at what you reference, if you press F4, you can see the dollar sign it has put in front of the E and the 7. That basically locks the value. You don't need to really bother about this. We'll come back to this in a future lesson. So you can skip that for now. Then the next shortcut we have is the control backtick. I'm going to spell backtick here. Backtick. The control back. The backtick is this small, that small symbol after the control. In fact, let me upload a picture of a keyboard so you can see exactly where that icon is. Okay, so you can see on this keyboard the backtick is the one in blue, and the backtick is right next to, is on the left of one, in that left top corner right there. So that's the backtick key. So what control backtick does is to okay, before I go to the control backtick, I skipped one, and I should be highlighting them red so I don't skip one. Red, red. Okay, now F2. So what F2 does is it shows the formulas in a cell. So some cells contain formulas. So let me explain what I mean. I'm going to put a formula in this cell right here. This is equal to E7 plus H6. From the outside, after I've entered that formula, from the outside, you can't differentiate which cell has a formula and which cell doesn't. This cell has a formula, but by simply looking at it, we don't know. So what F2 does, if you double click on this cell, you can see it has opened up, and you can see, oh, okay, it contains a formula, that is E7 plus H6. So the shortcut for that, instead of double clicking, is to, when you select the cell and you press F2, it shows the formula in the cell. So that's what F2 does. Now, imagine a worksheet where you have a lot of cells with many of which have formulas. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them have formulas. So I'm going to put some other cells with formulas. So I'll have this is equal to this minus this, maybe one more, equal to 5 F12 multiplied by this. So now some of them have formulas, some of them don't. Now, how do we if we want to know at a glance, okay, which of those have formulas, we want to know them. You press Control plus the backtick key. So hold down Control and tap the backtick key, and when you do that, you can see it shows which of them have formulas. For instance, this one has a formula, this one has a formula, this one has a formula, and this does not, but I think all the rest do. All the rest have formulas. So that's just used if you want to, at a glance, see all your formulas in your worksheet. I'm going to press again, so we return to normal view. Okay. Now, the next set of shortcuts has to do with workbook navigation. So this This is a single worksheet, as you can see here, and this is also a single worksheet, but um, all the worksheets make a workbook. So if you want to navigate between worksheets without having to come down here and click on this and click back, let me make one more worksheet to illustrate my point. So without having to click here, if you want to move between worksheets, what you can do is control, if you want to go to the worksheet on your right, control page down. I can see I'm on the data navigation worksheet. If I want to go to the sheet one, another control page down. And if I want to move to the left, control page up, control page up again, and we're back. So you can just use that to easily toggle between your worksheet. Then we also have sheet navigation and cell selection. Okay, for this I need to move to the next, that's the data navigation sheet. Okay, now to start with, this group of data, this one right here, is called a data block. This is also a bigger data block, a group of data with no spaces in between. Now, if I am here at this client name and I want to move to the downmost edge of the data block, how do I do that? It is control plus your down arrow key. Control down arrow. I am at the most bottom edge. If I want to move to the most right edge, right here, control and your right arrow key. If I want to move right here to amount, control up, control left, and you can see you can easily toggle to your edges, the edges of your data block. Now, if I want to expand the selection in the direction indicated, use your shift arrow key. So I'm on client name, but if I want to include this next cell in my selection, shift down arrow, and you have selected that bottom cell. If I want to select the next one, shift down arrow, you can highlight all of them. If I want to highlight the ones to my right, shift right arrow. As I am now, I can highlight these two cells by going down, shift down arrow. So you can just play around with this and you have a feel of it, you know how it works. Now, how do we select from an active cell to the end of the row of the column? That's Control Shift arrow. So if you hold Control Shift and your arrow key, now Control Shift arrow, what this does, it highlights us to the absolute end of the data block. So for instance, if you've done shift right all the way here, but you want to, if you press shift down arrow, you only go down one step. But if I want to highlight all the way down at once, it is Control Shift down. Or if, for instance, I'm here and I want to highlight all the way to amount, Control Shift right, will take me all the way there. Also, to select an entire data block at once, that's Control A. So I can click on any cell within the data block, and when I press Control A, you can see it highlights the whole data block. So it's very useful because, for instance, this data block is very huge. So instead of trying to highlight the whole thing with your mouse, which could be very long and just keep on scrolling down. What you could do is just press Ctrl A and you've highlighted the whole block. What else do we have? To select an entire row or column, to select an entire column. Columns run vertically, that's this is a column E, while rows run horizontally. So to select an entire, like if I want to select column E, that is Control space bar. Control plus the space bar. And you can see that the whole column is selected. To select an entire row, that's if I want to select, let's say row 2, that's a shift space bar. And the whole row is selected. Now, if I wish to add a row or add a column, how do I do this? To add a row or add a column, that is Control plus, and to remove a row or column is Control minus. So if I want to add a row next to column B, it is Control plus. But you know, in order to access plus, you need to press Shift. So you're actually pressing Control Shift plus. But let us say Control plus, and you can see a new column is added. Now, if I want to remove this, it is Control minus. This time I'm not pressing Shift, so Control minus. Now, if I wanted to add a new row, let's say on top of row 14, it is also Control plus. Remember, we're pressing Shift too. And to remove it, Control minus. No Shift. Remember, no Shift. Okay. Now, you should know this three. I don't really think I need to cover this. Copy, paste, cut. I think most people know this one. Now, the last set of shortcuts is to format cells. So, for instance, we may need to change the format. The different cells have different formats. I may need to change the format of, let's say, this cell. I could right click and come to format cells here, which will bring up this dialog box, which will also come to in a future lesson. So instead of having to right click and go there, I could just use Control 1. So when you hold down Control and press 1, it brings up the dialog box. So these are the shortcuts that you should learn, because we'll be using them quite frequently in our future lessons. So please do try and practice them. You can, while watching the video, you can pause to try out a particular action. And remember, if you have any questions or you encounter any problems, feel free to contact me and I'll respond to you shortly. So thank you very much. Once again, I appreciate your feedback to know what you feel about the lesson, anything I can improve upon. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next lesson.